What if the woman you're about to marry is actually your biggest future regret? If she shows these signs before marriage, run. This isn't just a red flag. It's a siren screaming through the silence of your blind love. Most men don't notice the danger until it's too late. But you will. Because today, you'll learn what most never do. How to detect patterns, recognize emotional manipulation, and avoid falling into a marriage trap that slowly erodes your self-respect, your peace, and your masculine frame. You don't need another heartbreak. You need emotional discipline, a stoic mindset, and the courage to walk away when something doesn't align with your values. The power of prevention is greater than the pain of recovery. So stay sharp, because one missed detail now could cost you everything later. By the end of this video, you'll have the clarity to make one of the most important decisions of your life with bold boundaries and decision-making power rooted in truth, not illusion. And hey, if this content is helping you see what others ignore, drop a like, share this with a brother who needs it, and leave a comment below. You might just be the reason someone protects their peace and reclaims their inner power before it's too late. Let's start with the first and most common behavior that silently destroys men before the wedding bells ever ring. Let's call this the smile that hides the trap. You're standing at the altar, tucks pressed, hands slightly trembling. She's smiling back at you, angelic, perfect, the kind of smile your friends envy. But here's the brutal truth. Not all smiles are safe. Some are masks, and behind some of them is a lifetime of emotional manipulation, identity loss, and pain you never saw coming. That moment, that altar, becomes a cliff. And the scariest part? Most men don't realize they're falling until they've already hit the ground. There's a reason some divorces feel like war zones. They didn't start that way. They started with charm, affection, and all the right words. But underneath that surface was chaos waiting to happen. The men who survive this trap are the ones who learn to detect patterns before signing a marriage certificate. Because when it's all wrapped in love and lust, your male intuition has to be sharper than ever. One of the first signs she might be dangerous long-term. Watch how she reacts to discomfort. Does she explode when she doesn't get her way? Play the victim? Guilt trip you with crocodile tears? These are small rehearsals for the role she'll play when things get serious. A woman who can't handle disagreement now won't suddenly become emotionally mature after she says, "I do." This is your first moment to practice emotional intelligence and see the scene, not just the performance. Here's something practical. Plan a scenario where you two face minor conflict. It could be a delayed dinner plan, a canceled trip, or a financial limit you need to set. Then, observe, don't fix. How she reacts tells you who she is under pressure. This isn't manipulation. It's a relationship audit, and it might save your future. You're not testing her love. You're testing your reality. That's how you begin to build clarity over chaos. But let's be honest, many men ignore these moments because they're afraid to lose her. They confuse emotional discipline with being cold. But here's the truth: protect your peace isn't a slogan. It's a manhood principle. It means not sacrificing your future self for a present illusion. It means choosing peace over pressure and long-term harmony over short-term excitement. The man who sets bold boundaries now builds a life with fewer regrets later. Picture this. Years into the marriage, you're walking on eggshells. Every disagreement turns nuclear, and you barely recognize the man in the mirror. That man is drained of his inner power, emotionally worn, and spiritually hollow. And yet, this could have been avoided with one decision: running early. Not running out of fear, running with self-respect, with purpose first, and a deep sense of what you're building and what you're no longer willing to tolerate. Now ask yourself, what's more painful, saying no today or living with the consequences of saying yes forever? This isn't about fear, it's about strength. And this strength, rooted in Stoicism, will carry you into every next decision. But there's more. These early signs, they multiply. And the next one, though subtle, is even more dangerous than this. Let's call this, when control wears lipstick, she's charming, right? Thoughtful, attentive, even supportive, until she subtly begins shaping your choices. Where you go, who you see, what you post, how long you're on your phone. It doesn't come all at once. It comes in small, almost loving suggestions. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Control rarely kicks the door down, it knocks gently. If you're not tuned into your masculine frame and living from a place of self-mastery, you won't even notice the shift until you've lost yourself trying to keep her happy. Most men only realize something's wrong when they feel a quiet exhaustion they can't explain. It's the weight of constant compromise, of shrinking your world bit by bit to keep the peace. But what you're actually doing is sacrificing your identity, your autonomy, your edges. This is the kind of slow identity loss that turns bold men into hollow shells. And when it hits, it's never dramatic. It's a quiet resignation. You just stop fighting. You comply. And that's not love. That's surrender. You'll know you're in this trap if every decision feels like it needs to be approved, not discussed approved, like your freedom has a leash. That's not partnership. That's programming. And here's the problem. If she gets used to controlling you now, before marriage, she will master it after. This is how many men walk into a marriage trap thinking they've found love, when in fact, they've signed up for long-term quiet submission disguised as harmony. So how do you flip this? You anchor into your unshakable values. You write down what matters to you most: freedom, purpose, brotherhood, faith, whatever keeps your core stable. And anytime you feel tension between keeping her calm and staying true to that list, choose the list. That's your compass. That's your honor. And more importantly, that's your responsibility. Because real men don't just lead others, they lead themselves. Here's a tip you can apply today. Say no to something small that doesn't align with your values and observe her response. It could be as simple as skipping an event you're not aligned with, or spending the evening working on your goals. If she guilt trips you, mocks your decision, or makes it about her, that's a red flag. A woman who honors your no is one who respects your decision-making power. And that's the kind of respect that keeps you from becoming emotionally imprisoned later. Many men confuse peace with quiet, but peace without freedom is just silence in a cage. You might not hear shouting, but you'll feel the tension, the small betrayals to yourself, the sense that your life is no longer fully yours. And it all started with a few seemingly innocent compromises. This is why emotional resilience isn't just about withstanding pain. It's about resisting comfort when it comes with a cost. And if you think this ends here, think again. There's another layer to this, something most men completely overlook. It's not about control anymore. It's about how she handles your purpose and what she does when you're not pouring all of your energy into her. Let's call this: when your purpose becomes a problem, you're building something, maybe a business, a mission, a body, a mindset. And at first, she loves it. She brags about you, posts about your hustle, says she's proud. But then things shift. Slowly, she starts asking for more time, complains you're too focused, or drops the classic, "I feel like I come second." That's the moment you realize something crucial. She doesn't want to grow with you. She wants your world to orbit hers. This is where you have to anchor into purpose first and refuse to negotiate the vision that makes you who you are. A woman who can't celebrate your growth will eventually resent it. And that resentment doesn't always come with screaming matches. It comes with subtle sabotage, distractions during your work hours, emotional outbursts when you're about to lock in, coldness when you choose your vision over another date night. These are micro cuts to your mission, and they compound. The result? A man who begins to shrink his ambition to preserve his relationship. That's how greatness dies, in small, quiet decisions made out of guilt. Men were not built to live under constant compromise, especially not when it comes to their inner power and mission. This is why Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a survival code. You're not here to abandon love, but to protect your edge. If your edge dulls to keep someone comfortable, you've already started losing. And the tragic part? Most men do this believing it's love. But love without emotional discipline becomes sacrifice. And sacrifice without reciprocity is slow self-destruction. You want to test this dynamic? Try this. Go all in on a 30-day challenge that elevates you. Fitness, business, spirituality, doesn't matter. Watch her response. Does she support it, fuel it, or get irritated and distant? Old boundaries around your time and purpose will reveal more about her than hours of conversation. Because when your time isn't fully hers, the mask often slips. Now here's something most men won't say out loud. They fear being alone more than being stifled. So they accept emotional contracts that erode their masculine frame. They say yes to constant compromise. They let purpose come second and relationship drama become first. That's the trade. And you have to ask yourself, what's the cost of that trade 5 years from now? This is where you step into mental strength. The kind that lets you stay calm when she questions your focus. The kind that lets you say, I'm doing this for both of us, and mean it. And if she walks away, let her. The man who puts clarity over chaos may lose someone emotionally unstable, but gains everything he was born to become. That's not a loss. That's an upgrade. And here, a quick pause. If this kind of content is opening your eyes to things you used to overlook, hit that like button now and subscribe, because we're just warming up. The deeper we go, the clearer it all becomes. Ready for more? Let's call this, when her words sound right, but feel wrong words are powerful. But tone, timing, and intent, that's where the truth hides. Some women are masters at saying all the right things, but the energy behind them feels off. You'll hear, I support you, I want what's best, or even I love you, yet your gut says something doesn't match. That's not paranoia. That's your male intuition picking up on something deeper. And ignoring that whisper now leads straight into long-term confusion, gaslighting, and emotional chaos later. This is what we call emotional manipulation in disguise. She's not yelling, she's not being obvious, but she's creating an emotional maze one where you're constantly questioning yourself, your worth, and your memory. You start doubting your own instincts. And that, brother, is the beginning of a very slow self-erasure. It doesn't look like control from the outside, but inside, you're drained, second-guessing, and quietly collapsing. That's why real men don't just analyze actions. They also read energy. One of the clearest signs of this manipulation, you always feel like you owe her something. Not because you did anything wrong, but because of how she makes you feel. Guilty for having needs. Apologetic for having dreams. Ashamed for standing your ground. That's not love. That's emotional debt. And the interest rate, your self-respect. If you're not careful, you'll pay it monthly until there's nothing left in you to give. So here's a way to break that cycle. Practice silence. Not passive-aggressive silence, stoic silence. When she throws emotional bait your way, don't take it. Just listen, observe, breathe. Say less. The more calm you remain, the more the manipulation exposes itself. That's emotional resilience in action. You're not cold, you're clear. You're no longer emotionally reactive. And the moment she sees that she can't shake you, you gain power she can't take. Now, let's make it even more practical. Journal. Seriously. Track your emotional state after every serious conversation. Did you feel seen, empowered, or drained and small? Patterns will reveal themselves. You'll start to notice what most men ignore. This habit becomes your personal relationship audit, and over time, it'll teach you more than any advice column or podcast ever could. It's wild how easy it is to lose yourself in someone else's emotional field, especially when their words are pretty. Their voice is soft and the intentions sound pure. But just like sugar masks poison, nice words can cover manipulation. And if you don't have clarity over chaos, you'll keep sipping that poison thinking it's love. Now ask yourself, if her words make your chest tighten instead of your mind expand, is that really love? Or is it just comfort with a cost? And speaking of cost, there's one more sign that takes everything to a new level. A sign that affects not just how you feel, but who you become when no one's watching. Let's call this the invisible erosion of your identity. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not loud. It doesn't even feel wrong at first. But one day, you wake up and don't recognize yourself anymore. Your opinions are quieter. Your habits have shifted. Your goals are blurry. And somehow, the man who once stood tall with unshakable values now walks on eggshells to avoid emotional landmines. This is the silent killer of the masculine identity. The slow, almost invisible erasure of who you are when you make her comfort your compass. Here's what's scary. You don't feel the erosion while it's happening. It's subtle. You start skipping the gym to avoid a fight. You stop talking to certain friends she doesn't like. You stop taking those solo drives that clear your mind. Then you stop dreaming as big, not because she asked you to, but because the emotional consequence of being fully yourself became too heavy. And just like that, your self-mastery becomes self-abandonment. You'll hear her say, "You've changed." But it's not that you changed, it's that you stopped bending. That's what triggers her. When you start reclaiming your inner power, your decision-making power, and your voice, the version of you that she had influence over begins to dissolve. And if she was more in love with your compliance than your truth, it won't sit well. That's when the guilt, shame, or silent withdrawal creeps in. And many men, terrified of confrontation, return to the cage. This is why bold boundaries aren't optional. They're non-negotiable. They're the walls that protect your mission, your peace, your fire. You don't set them to punish her. You set them to protect your peace. If your presence in a relationship requires constant compromise of your values, you're not in love. You're in emotional debt. And unlike financial debt, you can't take out a loan to recover your soul. So what's the antidote? Purpose. Not the kind you read about in books, but the kind you wake up for. When your days are fueled by mission, not maintenance, you become less emotionally fragile. You stop looking for validation from someone who doesn't see the full you. Your relationship becomes a choice, not a survival mechanism. And this is how you walk in Stoic mindset, with emotional intelligence, and with the kind of confidence that doesn't need permission to exist. Let's be honest, if the cost of love is you, then it's not love. It's a transaction you'll keep paying for until your spirit overdrafts. And what do you have left for your future, your legacy, your purpose? That's why preventing regret starts with honoring your identity, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. So now that we've peeled back these layers, what do you do with all this clarity? Now that you've seen the signs, the question isn't, is she the one? It's, are you still being the man you're meant to be? Because relationships don't destroy men. Abandoning your values does. What you tolerate today becomes the pain you endure tomorrow. And ignoring these patterns doesn't make them disappear. It just blinds you to the damage they're causing. So here's the challenge. Are you leading your life or just surviving hers? Are your bold boundaries protecting your soul? Or are you walking straight into a marriage trap because it's easier to stay than to walk away? Don't wait for the breakdown to start building your backbone. You already have what it takes. The inner power, the mental strength, the clarity. Now use it. I want to hear from you. What was the biggest red flag you've ever ignored? What did it cost you? Or what's a boundary you know you need to set now before it's too late? Drop this phrase in the comments. I choose clarity over chaos. Thank you for staying with me till the end of this message. It means you're not just consuming content. You're choosing growth. You're choosing to protect your peace, sharpen your masculine frame, and live with purpose first. And that deserves respect. If this resonated with you, hit the like button to spread this message further. Share this video with a brother who needs to hear it before he walks into something he can't walk out of. And don't forget to subscribe. We've got much more coming to help you stay grounded, sharp, and unshakable.